Ghana. That will be +233. You can also like our page. Search for Sister Sister Live, Sister Sister Live. Like our page and join the growing community as usual. Let's say hello to my sisters in studio with me now. This person I'm about to introduce is someone who has not been on the show for a couple of years now, but I'm going to bring all my sisters back because we actually totally missed them on the show. I am joined in studio by Sandria. Sandria is an old member, if you know, you know, of Sister. Sandria, so good to see you.
Good to be here.
Where have you been hiding?
I've been living.
Yeah, all that fabulousness.
I'm trying.
But how have you been this year, though?
This year? Oh my God, it's been a year.
Yeah.
But we're alive.
Yeah.
I was saying the other day, you know how at the end of the year people ask, what have you achieved this year? This year, being alive is my achievement. It's good enough.
I feel you on
It's
that.
good enough to
Yeah.
be alive. It's good enough.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
It's been a tough
you
year.
look amazing, by the way.
Thank you.
You don't
As
look
do
like you had a
you.
tough year. Nah.
Charlie, we carry it well. It's called packaging.
That's what's up. Rosina, good to see you as well. How you doing, sister?
Good to see you too.
Yeah, you okay?
Actually, good to see Sandria too. I've
Indeed.
missed you on
I've
the
missed
show.
you.
I know.
Charlie,
We're always
she's
on
gone
opposite.
now.
We've always
You come back to
we've
meet
been
you.
on opposite sides of opinions.
I
You
know.
remember?
All the
This should
time.
be interesting.
I know.
I have mellowed.
Oh, have you now? We shall see.
And
We
reality has
also,
hit me.
Thank you.
we also have Sabi, who's joining us all the way from Johannesburg, South Africa. Sabi, good to see you. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right. Can't complain, actually. Cannot complain. So we'll go right into action. And I'll go right into our first message. So it says, good evening, sisters. I have a problem. I'm dating this lady I'm planning to marry next year. I requested that we go and see her parents, but she declined and rather suggested we go to meet her pastor first. She also said that it's only her pastor, only when her pastor approves of our relationship that we can go and meet her parents. I initially declined and told her mother to convince her daughter that it's best for me to come and see the family first before going to see the pastor. Unfortunately, her mom wasn't able to convince her, but rather advised me to oblige with her daughter's request. I reluctantly accepted and went to see the pastor. To my surprise, I was the second man my girlfriend had introduced to the pastor as a suitor. What surprised me more was that the pastor said he was going to pray about us, as in the other man and myself, and revert in 2 weeks about who a better suitor would be. It's past 2 weeks, and I've still not heard anything.
It wasn't you.
Well, I told my girlfriend's mom about it, and she eventually informed my girlfriend's father. This did not sit down well with my girlfriend, and she has stopped picking my calls. Please, it's eating me up and I need your help. That's our first message for the evening. Since Sandria is already passing commentary, no, you go first. Here we go. What do you think?
I'm sorry, is it Lotto? Or is Cha-Cha?
Maybe.
I mean, okay, so first of all, I find it interesting that her mother said yes, go and see the pastor first. Then the pastor says there's two of you.
And he's going to pray about it.
I'm confused that wasn't when he decided I won't do this anymore, because why does the girlfriend that I want to marry next year have another suitor? Like, doesn't he find anything wrong with the fact that there's two of you in her life?
Right.
There are all sorts of implications. Are they sexually active? Is she sexually active with both of them?
Probably
or
not.
with just one of them? Why is this decision up to the pastor? The fact that he hasn't heard from them. In fact, I wouldn't even have waited. If it was my brother and if he told me this, I would have said, look, dog, move on. But the fact that he hasn't heard from them and it shouldn't be eating you up, my dear. The writing, biblically, as they say, the writing is on the wall. Advise yourself.
All right. Writing's on the wall, she
Yes.
says. Rosina, you hold the same opinion?
Well, definitely, because I have a problem with people who refer stuff like that to their pastors. Because first and foremost, marriage, no matter what, with the family support, all those things are important. But at the end of the day, you
It's
and
the
the
two of you.
woman are going to be a couple.
Right.
So right from the word go, the two of you should be in sync about what you want to do before you even start seeing family. So the two of you are not in sync. It's different if maybe, I don't know. The lady needs to be sure that, you know what, I would love to marry you. I want to marry you. We're going to do this. Now, what's the next step? Let's go and see my parents. You understand? And she should even be one of the people pushing that, you know what, I think this is the best day to see my parents, you know, stuff like that. But she's not doing that. She's telling you that, so let's go to my pastor first. And this pastor too has boldly told you that, Charlie,
You're not the only one.
there are two applicants, fully shortlisted applicants will be contacted. So the two of you are probably the shortlisted applicants. You understand? And they give you 2 weeks. And the Holy Spirit cannot be rushed.
I love it.
Do you understand? So no matter what he says, I mean, you don't have a choice but to just, you know, and I don't think that you want to start your marriage on that kind of a note. Because what it means is that decisions about having children is going to be that of the pastor. Decisions about whether, what work you should do, you know, probably even how many times you get intimate in a week and all of that will be taken by the pastor. The style you should do,
Missionary.
all those things will be are decisions that will be taken by the pastor. You understand? So looking at all of this, Charlie, is just too much hassle. For me, I don't think it's a marriage that I would advise my brother to get into. Charlie, run. It's not something you should get into.
Right. And the bit about, you know, her finding out that, like, he had sort of gone behind her and spoken to her parents about it. Well, her mom who told her dad, and she's not picking his calls.
I think
that
it's a
part,
jive.
No, that part, you know what I think? Personally, what I think is that, you see, the mother knows that there's more than one suitor.
Yeah.
And the daughter has told the mother that, actually, this guy, you know, he is very serious about me, but this is the one I actually like. It's probably the mother's idea to even go to the pastor. But because of the way this guy has been persistent, it's possible that the woman's husband is not in on the whole
What's
deal.
going on?
So for the man to go and see the father, for the father to probably be accepting of this new guy, like, okay, you are the one who wants to see my daughter, is pissing the lady off. Because the father is probably more reasonable than the mother and the pastor put together.
Also, you know, I wanted to add, I mean, you know that people who can't openly say that I don't want you. And so they'll put all sorts of obstacles and they will make you be the one to leave. So, like I said, the moment she went to the pastor, in fact, the moment she refused to let you meet her parents was one obstacle. Going to the pastor and finding out there was a second man was a second obstacle. The pastor not calling you was a third obstacle. Now you've gone to see her father and she stopped picking. Basically, now you have given her the reason to say, why did you go and see my father?
Right.
So I stopped picking your call.
Right.
So now she's going to put it on you for doing what you weren't supposed to do and leave.
Right.
Leave, man. Leave.
Sabby, let me bring you in. What do the South Africans have to say?
I'm very confused by this. I'm not confused, actually. So I'm not understanding the go to see the pastor thing. The pastor is a human being like all of us. Okay? I'm not saying anything wrong with the pastor, but the pastor is also a human being. So it's almost like she's taking away any responsibility from herself. And so if the pastor says, oh, no, you're not the right one for me, then the blame doesn't sit on her. But she's the one who's having she's the one who's having a relationship with this man. So I'm not understanding this, we need to go see the pastor first. Number two, she says, we can't go see my parents, we have to see the pastor first. But he's been talking to her mother. So talking to the mother is the same as seeing the parents. Like, I don't understand. If he's got a way or he's got a 911 digit to call the mother, what is the difference? So she's saying, we're not going to go see the parents, we must go see my pastor. But he keeps on calling her mommy. Like, I don't also, why is he talking to the mother only? Like, what? I don't, like, where's the father in the situation? Like, and besides the mother and besides the pastor, he should be talking to her.
Right.
Like, nine, clearly. Listen, this is what I want to do. You know what my intentions are. Are you on the same page? Do you want to build a family with me? Do you see yourself with me? Are you in love with me? The pastor just told me about another suitor. I had no idea there was another suitor. So what's a one?
Right.
Like, it's very simple to me. There are other people being put in the equation who have no place to be in the equation. He should be asking the person he's having a relationship with so that he can either move on or make an informed decision. Right now, he's acting like a victim.
Right. I mean, I can't help but agree with all the sisters, Charlie. The writing is on their wall. I mean, no Longton. She's not picking your calls anymore. She needed an excuse. You've given her one.
That's it.
Pastor hasn't called you. What else do you want to know? I know it's hard. I know you really love her, else you wouldn't have written to the show. But, whoa, what? Are you going to beg her for the rest of your life to be with you? Meanwhile, you know there's another man in the picture. Save yourself some time. And save yourself from heartbreak. Or heartaches, right? Message from Henry says, I have a couple of questions. 1, how attached is your girlfriend to her pastor? 2, is she the kind that sort of fears and respects her pastor's opinion over everybody else's? 3, is she the kind that always wants her pastor's approval over certain issues, like she can't think for herself? 4, does she look like someone who will respect you as a husband and put you first in your marriage? Now, if she is more inclined to listen to her pastor more than you, then her family, then brother, please tread carefully and cautiously, because it can become problematic in your marriage. The fact that she's angry at you for informing her parents is also some weight. If she keeps ignoring you, take a hint and assume that she's chosen the other person, and finally, move on. Albie says, what's wrong with men of today? Can't you read between the lines when a woman you're pursuing has a different agenda? My guy, you never had a girlfriend or fiance in the first place.
Ouch.
Move on. Kofi says, honestly, our generation should go back to the old ways of marrying. When you hear some of these stories, you ask yourself, what's wrong with this generation? Whose fault is it? Our parents, religious bodies, modernization, or stupidity? We keep fooling ourselves with this relationship marriage thing a bit too much. Until the day most of us use our heads instead of our hearts in relationships, we'll keep hearing these kinds of stories. My guy, you don't need advice. All you need is using your head and you'll be okay. My dear, says Akosia, thank God and run. These kinds of women are the ones who worship their pastors. Their lives revolve around their pastors, and marrying them means trouble. Every day you will hear, my pastor this, my pastor that, and they will never give you peace. Koku says, listen up, bro. The signs are clear that you're dating a lady who has been indoctrinated and takes the words of her so-called pastor as law above those of her parents. She clearly is immature, not ready for marriage. It's difficult, but I'd advise you to forget her and move on. Nee says, too many red flags, brother. 1, she introduced someone else to the pastor as a potential suitor, and clearly that person is still in the picture, so she's definitely cheating on you. 2, the fact that she respects the pastor more than her biological parents is a no-no. And finally, the pastor is sleeping with her.
Ouch.
How do you know that?
Possible.
I mean, well,
It's
anyway,
possible,
says
but
she has stopped picking your calls. Do the math. Final message from Alex. Now he says, that's very disrespectful of her. The traditional marriage is the actual marriage. That's when the bride is given out to the groom, and her parents are very instrumental in this. That is why the absence of the parents, family members would have... Okay, in the absence of the parents, family members would have to stand in for them. Anything that happens in the church is just a touch-up. No church wedding will take place if the bride has not been given out traditionally. As she does not respect her parents, it's the same treatment that she'll give you in marriage. Anything you discuss as a couple, her pastor must first approve of it. Look at how she is mad over this. It's a red flag. You can't cope. That's why you're seeking help. Advise yourself. We'll go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, yet another message on Sister Sister. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, viewers. I'm feeling very frustrated and bored in Sambulai. I'm very happy. If you don't understand, don't worry, because myself, I don't understand. In this addition, Vodafone Ghana has now made it possible to send money from Vodafone Cash to all network free. We will cross over to our senior reporter for more details.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm standing in front downtown. You know, I'm learning to make a bluff. I'm not funny as you said. Vodafone, I'm not quite said. What you miss any Sicado to Opia, Emily to Opia, Echo all the network. I will check up there. Me Tissi Montezo, Diamond Forkin.
Fifia, Matendo says, don't you put charges, Manomi? Two, you blow, charges on your womb, I don't harm you. A beer says, do not have charges or Clendine.
Hanging on me, Fanny, no me. Send America charges, no charges. I met G. Naka charges, when we know, Mania Cafe, BP. Oh, honey, food up for
For me, I do a lot of online transactions. I guess here. See, the excitement for me is that I get to save a lot on Vodafone Cash.
Please put me down.
I'm so excited. I can now send money to all networks without any charges.
Me ye Geneva. A bribia says a michia meduma ye forecam. Sika michia se charges no. A do do. Nansu say dear. Me the Vodafone Cash.
Sending money on Vodafone Cash to all networks is now free. Send any amount of money as many times as you like to all networks for free. Dial *110 hash now to send money.
Any amount for Masumo. Studio 2. Put him in car. And yeah, Muso Mame.
This is the red news. Apologize.
The future is exciting. Ready?
Welcome back, Sister, Citi TV, Citi FM, also live around the world at citifmonline.com if you're listening via the internet. So our next message here says, hello, sisters, I have a problem. I'm dating this lady I'm planning to marry next year. I requested that...
No.
Oh, hang on, sorry. Reading the same one. Hi, sisters. I dated a man when I was in SHS, and he promised to marry me after I gained admission into the university. I gained admission last year, and I went to introduce him to my family 3 months after that. Unfortunately, my family didn't agree to the marriage because of an existing chieftaincy issue in my town. I tried to convince my family, but they still did not budge, and I had to break up with him. I met this new guy earlier this year. Went to introduce him to my family 2 months ago. My mom and siblings have rejected him and said I should cut ties with him. We love each other and it's hard to break it off. I was so happy that I'd found love again, and now this? Please help me. I'm confused. I'm depressed as well, and I really want to hear from you, sisters. Oh, this makes sense. Rosie, you want to take
Okay. So the first one didn't come off because of a chieftaincy issue in their area.
Right.
My question is that why did that have to result in a breakup? Because if the deal was just get admission to the university when you were in SHS, so I'm thinking that she was probably not even that old. So they could have actually dated and courted for a while. So the chieftaincy issue was over. So I'm surprised that, one, it was an issue. So when there's chieftaincy issues, nobody gives birth, nobody gets married. I'm surprised. I don't know which part of Ghana that is.
Right.
Okay. And why she couldn't sustain the relationship? Okay, but let's just say that the man wasn't too happy and they broke off. Now you brought somebody else. You've introduced the person. Is she their daughter?
As in
the mother and the sister, no?
No. As in is the mother really her mother?
Okay.
You understand what I'm trying to say? Because the excuses they are giving, no, I'm not getting it.
Right.
I don't see why they are doing what they are doing. And I don't know, maybe you need to sit down with your mother and ask your mother exactly what the problem is. What kind of a man would they approve of? What is the deal here? You know, just to find out what is in her mind, and also tell your mom exactly where you stand. And let her know that, well, I have lost one person, all because you said it wasn't appropriate. Now that went, you know, and there's this other person, and then we are all we're all trying to kind of like, make this work. I really love him. He loves me. And I believe that this is where my future is at. And he's the one who's going to make me happy.
Right.
So try and reason with your mother. But first of all, let her tell you why she keeps doing this to you. And then also reason with her and dialogue with her. But I don't think it's fair. And I don't know. It's not fair on you and even the person coming to marry you. Because I would have said that, okay, it doesn't matter. You can just go and then, do your thing. But Africa we did, you know what I mean? And marriage is usually family issues and stuff like that. So it's important that you get the buy-in of at least your parents or at least one of your parents. Right. It's very, very important. So I think that take it up with your mom. And maybe if this doesn't work out and one day you find somebody else, I think that you should start taking the person home as a friend. So and allow your family to warm up to him and like him for who they are. So like him for who he is, and then maybe gradually let it settle into a relationship. I think the whole shock I don't know whether that's what's the problem, but I just don't get it. Right. But you should dialogue with the mom and then see how they can reason about this and then take it from there. Okay. But she should be very consistent. If this is the man that she really wants, she should be steady at it, but not get angry. Just be steady at it. Just keep hitting the nail on the head. This is what I want. Mommy, I need this. Mommy, I want this man. Keep going.
Okay. Dre, is that what you'll be doing? Mommy, I need this man. Mommy, I want
No, because
if it was you.
Me. Even me, I'm just looking at the age.
No, I'm hearing you.
The girl's age.
Me. Like the first one said, we marry already.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, so the excuses that her family are giving make no sense. Chieftaincy, was she going to marry the chief? Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, I'm thinking it's probably a dispute sort of between two maybe factions, so to speak, and one doesn't marry from the other.
What does that have to do with her getting married?
Chieftaincy
issue in the town. How does that affect her getting married? That's one. Right. Unless there was a ban on weddings, or I don't understand that part. But for you to lose one partner because of a chieftaincy, this wasn't even the family disapproving. Right. It was a chieftaincy dispute. Right. Then you've managed to find. Do you know how rare it is to find people that you love and love you back and want to marry you? So you've managed to find a first one who waited for you to finish school, get into university, and then chieftaincy disputes because that ends. Then you find a second one, and your mother. I find it very weird that a mother, because that's usually a mother's pride to say, oh, my daughter's getting married. Right. And again, your mother is saying, what's the reason this time?
Oh, no reason.
We just don't like it.
We don't agree.
Saying you should cut ties.
My mother has a saying, it is not everybody who flies that is called a witch.
Yeah. I hear you.
Because some people believe that marriage is a blessing. Sure. You've had this blessing twice. Same people have removed wealth. One has been removed, a second one is being removed. I hear you on this is Africa and we need our families buying and marriages and all of that. But here she is, she's depressed. Right. What mother wants her child to be depressed?
Exactly.
I don't know. Yes, dialogue with your mother. But if that doesn't go anywhere, I say go ahead and get married anyway. I have a friend whose dad postponed her engagement twice. Okay. In fact, the second time, he actually said, I'm washing my car. He actually gave a date too. Yes, he gave a date. The first one, he said, I'm building the house. I'm building a house in the compound, so they can't come. Okay. The second time, he said, I'm washing my car.
Oh, how?
Yes. The people were legit on their way. He said, I'm washing my... He was in the yard wearing his shorts and singlets. I'm washing my car, they can't come in. Do you know how she eventually got married? She went and carried the things one day and came and said, Dad, you know what? The things on the list are on the dining table. I'm going. They've been married for 18 years.
Oh, wow.
Yes. She said, I brought the things. You know the list that she gave me? The things, we've brought them, they're on the dining table. I'm going. They've been married for 18 years. So really, yes, sometimes
you just have to be radical.
But sometimes you need to be radical. This is your happiness. This is the person you're going to end up with for the rest of your life. If he makes you happy now, I say go with it.
Me, in my case, I just said, oh, we are doing it on this day before they even do this.
Your parents?
Oh, I mean,
you just told them.
No, because sometimes I think that I've said this before, that sometimes when you are growing up, depending on how you carry yourself, the kind of decisions you make, sometimes it's very difficult for your parents to be pushing you around. When you look responsible, when you look like somebody who takes level-headed decisions, you're in control of your life, you're in control of your finances, you're in control of where you go, you realize that your parents give you that respect, and they have very little, or they probably advise you, but they can't really.
Yes. I know exactly what you mean. Savvy, what do you think about this particular message?
Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, this girl's 20.
She did not say.
She said she gained admission last year. Right. So I'm assuming she gained admission. The normal age gaining admission is maybe 19.
Yeah,
normally 18 turning 19.
Yeah.
So this guy promised to marry her last year when she was 18 going on 19. Okay.
Okay.
Then that relationship ended. Then she met a new person this year when she's 19 going on 20. Okay. So I just felt that we're different. We mature differently. I don't know her. So unless I met her, so I can't, But I'm trying to understand also, what is the rush? If she is indeed 20, what is the rush? And if she's only met the guy this year, how much does she know about him? Is she in love with him? Or is there also a little part that's in love with the idea of marriage, being a wife, and what that means? That's the one side for me.
Right.
That makes it a bit concerning, is like, if I think about who I was and how I was at 20, I was a hot mess. I could not be anybody's wife. Right now, it would have been the worst thing that could have ever happened, right? So I'm just also wondering, like, at 20, when you're supposed to be living your best life, being, as selfish as you can be, studying and then finding your first job and then, just figuring out who you are, falling in love with oneself. So for me, that's a big thing for me. But anyway, we're different, so that's the first thing. The second thing is, I feel like the way she's described this doesn't make sense to me, and I feel like there's a lot of holes. So if a parent said no with the chieftaincy, why? Why did they say no? Secondly, I would have loved to know, what are the family dynamics?
Right.
What is the relationship with her family? And why don't they like the second guy? Is there a specific reason? Have they seen something about him? Did they tell her? Has she asked? Is there a reason, or is there an underlying prejudice? Is he a different religion? Does he come from a different class system? Why? What is the reason? I mean, if I think with my head, nobody just says no for the sake of saying no. True. There has to be a reason behind it. And so if they've said they don't want this guy, has she asked why? There has to be a reason, whether it's a prejudice or not. There has to be a reason.
Right.
And I think for me, like, how she handles this is all dependent on the kind of relationship that she has with her family. Does she live with her family? Does she feel safe with them? Does she feel safe to be honest? Does she feel safe to ask those questions? Is she still considered a child? Is the reason why they don't want her to get married maybe because they still see her as a child? Is she comfortable to respectfully let them know that while she appreciates their feelings, she doesn't agree with them? Has she suggested things like, oh, can he come over a little bit more? Can we try spend time with you together so you can get to know him a little bit better? Right. And if the relationship is causing too much strife in the family, maybe she could consider taking a little bit of a step back, building more of a friendship with her partner, giving herself a timeline while they work things out with the family, if that's possible, and see if that could improve things. I think that before she gets to a place where she feels despondent and depressed and feels like, this is over, she must really take a step back and look at the reasons why the family doesn't want this guy. Look at the fact, if she decides to go ahead with him, is that something she's comfortable with? Because some of us are more reliant on our family than others. If your family decided to disown you and you said, I'm going with this man, is that something you could live with? If not, then what's your plan B? You know, like what do you think you could possibly do to get them to see him in a different light? But first, I'd love to know, or I'd love for you to try and see what the issue is so you can know where to work from.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I believe that, like, and I feel what she's going through, but I feel like we don't have a lot of information, so there's a lot of grasping at straws here and an attempt to advise you. Yes, you know, perhaps if we had more information, then this sort of advice could be a little more accurate. But yeah, certainly, Charlie, I'm adding my voice to everything that the ladies have said. You know, take bits and pieces of everything and sort of try and figure out why your parents do not accept this guy. Let them understand where you're coming from. Let them get to know him, and maybe, just maybe, they'll soften their stance. So yeah, good luck with that. And don't forget, if you are out there and you have questions that you'd like to send to the show, you can actually do that. You can send a WhatsApp to 054-998-6996. Prefix it with a country code. If you're watching the show from outside Ghana, the show is brought to you by Vodafone. It's also brought to you by Secure. Now, Secure is a pill, a low-dose daily oral contraceptive that, of course, is taken daily by women to prevent unintended pregnancies. Now, Secure has been protecting families for over 30 years, so you know that this is actually something that will really, really help you plan your life as a woman. And indeed as a family. So check out Secure if that is, you know, an option that you would like to try as far as contraceptives are concerned. Secure, you decide. We'll go for another break. When we come back, yet another message.
Charlie, what's up? Chai, problem money. 20, no contribution, no job. But you pan 20 for this. See, you are not getting nothing. The second baby just landed. So soon, but the first baby is just a year old. That is why he has kept it a secret. See, I just can't help it. My babe is fine. Look who is talking. We have fine wives too, but we plan our lives. Our wives take Secure. Secure oral contraceptive pill is trusted by many women because it has helped them to effectively plan their families. Jobo, have a discussion with your wife and go see your doctor or midwife for advice. Charlie, you guys will pee my eyes. Wow. And go pay.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Welcome back, Sister, Citi FM, Citi TV. All right, so another message here says, and this is a little long, so indulge me, ladies. I was in a relationship with a lady for 5 years, and I really loved her with all my heart. Everyone knew about us, including my mom, that she was the one I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. I never cheated on her. I did everything to show her that I really loved her, and she even said that she was blessed to have me. Now, everything was going on well until I completed university. She had 2 more years to go. She changed all of a sudden, and anytime I complained, she kept saying I was nagging. I really felt like I was losing her because I didn't want to let her go. I told her that I wanted to meet her so that we could talk things through, which never happened. She was always giving me excuses, and then she told me on the phone that she needed space and time. As time went on, she said she didn't love me anymore. I broke down, plunged into depression. I confronted her about it and asked her basically if she'd found someone else, but she denied it. Her reason was she didn't understand why my whole world revolved around her and why I loved her so much. She then suggested that we revert to friendship. She also said maybe when she comes to her senses later, she'll come back, but she isn't promising me anything. All right. She said so many hurtful things to me that day, and I was shocked all those words were coming out of her mouth. I've been confused up till now because the reasons she gave did not add up. She sometimes tries to check up on me, but I'm finding it difficult to move on because I ignored everyone and showed everyone that she was the one I loved. Please, what should I do to move on? It's too hard to open my heart up to another person. I sometimes feel that love just isn't for me. I can't stop thinking about the issue, and I don't even know what to say to friends and family anytime they ask about how she's doing and whether we're still together. I strongly need your advice. This pain I'm going through is unbearable, and I feel so empty. Oh, that's so sad. Okay, Sabby, I'm coming to you first for this one.
This is really sad, and I'm not playing. This is sad, and I'm sad for him. I'm sad for him. He's so consumed. Oh my God. He's so consumed. Actually, his love for her, my everything, is incredibly unhealthy and toxic. This is not love. Like, love is when two people are able to be self-sustained and fully actualized. You know, she used the words, what did she say? What his whole, what her...
Something about
the fact that his
whole world revolved around her, and she didn't understand why.
Yeah. So she's basically saying, dude, you're suffocating me.
Right.
Right. And also, he finished varsity, and she still had 2 years. When you're that young, so much can happen from the first year you meet to when you finish. You know, we change. We continually change. And sometimes it's as simple as, you know what? It just didn't work out. Who I thought I was and what I wanted are not the same things that I want now. And she's able to do that because she's probably created a whole life for herself, friends for herself, an identity for herself. He said he can't even talk or respond to friends because you know, he stopped talking to people, he stopped seeing people. And so what he did was he became codependent.
Right.
He relied on this woman for approval and for his sense of identity. And now that it's over, he has no idea what to do with himself. And so my thing is, I think it's lovely because she's still trying to be nice about it. I think she cares about him as a human being. She cares about him as a person, but she's no longer in love with him. She's no longer in love with him. And I think she's maybe also a bit worried, but she knows for a fact that she's not going to continue this relationship. Right. He should not even be thinking about going into any other relationship. He should just be thinking on working on himself. Because I feel and I fear that his idea of what love is all-consuming. I have a feeling that if I asked him, you know, about himself, who he is, what he enjoys, I don't know if he would really be able to articulate that. You know, there's certain people who become chameleons and they become who they think their partner wants them to be and start doing things that they think their partner wants them to be. I think along the way in this relationship, he's lost who he is. And if we can try and reframe this and turn it into a positive, I would say, look, you've got the opportunity right now and the time to really work on yourself and see, not only to heal, but to see who you are and what brings you joy. And not believe that last sentence he said that I think he said something like, I feel that love is not for me or something.
Right, he did.
And that's not the truth. Love is for everybody. Love is for everybody, but depending on our traumas and depending on what we've gone through, there's a truth that we believe in our minds about who we are and how we are. And it's our responsibility to always go, no, when that deep, you know, scary voice says those things, no, that's not true. That's not true. Be brave enough to go within yourself and figure out what it is about you that made you go so deeply into this relationship. Because for me, I just feel like he's lost himself. But there's so much great opportunity for him to just heal and find love again, the right kind of love that's for him. You know, I don't think that the girl, you shouldn't see it as she didn't love me. It just didn't work out. And sometimes that's just how life goes.
Yeah, salient points there. Drea?
Okay, so I like how she ended on find the kind of love that's for him. Because there are people who love like that. their love is all-consuming. When they love, their partner is their everything. It's unfortunate that it wasn't the same, because when two of the same kind of people find each other, it's beautiful. Do you get what I mean?
Absolutely.
If you find somebody who you're the world to, and is the world to you, it's beautiful. It's not necessarily toxic.
Right.
It only becomes toxic when it's not reciprocal.
Right.
Do you get what I mean? I feel sad for him, because what he describes is what most people are looking for. You know, somebody who would
be there
and be my there one. You know, it's sad that it's ended, but love is for everybody. And there are people like him out there. He needs to heal. He needs to let her go. She's being friendly, and I understand how that can make some people uncomfortable. It's like selling the goods, holding the tail. You've sold the goods, but you're still holding on. What's that about?
Yeah.
If you've let me go, you know, type of thing. So maybe he needs to be the one to say, you know what, you have left me. I'm going to move on.
Right.
How he'll deal with the pain, he needs help. He needs help. If it means therapy, he should go into therapy. I don't think he's ready to move into another relationship yet. And I feel him completely on not being able to tell friends and family if they're together anymore. In fact, the reason it's difficult is because she keeps reaching out to him.
Right.
You know, and giving him hope. Exactly. So he's not sure, do I say we've broken up and the next thing we're back together?
Right.
Or at this point, he needs to take a decision to say, you know what, this is it. As painful as it is, this is it. Cut the lines and say, and actually it helps when you actually start to tell the truth, that it's over, you know, and tell people why. It helps, because then in verbalizing it, you start to accept it.
Right.
You know, right now you're sitting there in hope because you haven't actually said it to yourself that it's over. He needs to say it to himself that it's over. He needs to start working on moving on. If it means therapy, he should go into therapy. You know, but yeah, I that's my opinion.
Rosina.
Let's start from the very beginning.
A very good place to start.
So, the thing about secondary school is that, because she said that the gentleman said that he's finished and the lady is now in SHS2.
It was uni, no?
No, sorry. He's finished uni. And the lady has two more years to go.
Yes,
that's right.
So which means the lady is probably in level 300 or 200.
200,
depending on
yes.
what you mean by 2 years. So which means the relationship started when she was in secondary school. Now the thing about secondary school relationship is that, you see, all of you are in uniforms. And there's really not much, you know, and there's a lot of, you know, everything is kind of like regimented. You all wake up at a certain time, go to school at a particular time, and all of that. And secondary school love is very innocent, it's beautiful. You have all these books that you read, and everybody in secondary schools and relationship feels like, oh, this guy is the one I'm going to grow old to marry. You break my virginity at the point of getting married, and, you know, all kinds of fantasies happen when you're in secondary school.
Right.
And most people...
They're in uni, though.
I'm talking about the secondary school.
Okay, all right, cool.
They happen when they're in secondary school.
Okay.
And most people, when they're in relationships in secondary school, most of the time it happens because somebody is teasing somebody about being too close to somebody, and then they kind of like get close naturally, and everybody, and normally people appreciate such relationships because everybody's kind of like green. So you know that, okay, this man has not been with somebody else, the woman has not been with somebody else. So there's a certain kind of innocent love that is created. However, most people come from first relationships, enter other relationships, and realize that, hold on, what I was feeling was not even actually love to begin with. Now, when you get to the tertiary environment, for once, all of a sudden, different kinds of people. That's when you start seeing the men. No, seriously. You know, when you're in secondary school and you even see somebody, like when we're in secondary school, SS1, the third year students, they look so far apart.
Sure.
But when you're in uni, the final year, you know, university students, it's not too far apart.
Right.
By the time you're level 200, Charlie, you started rubbing shoulders with them because you are meeting at school. There's nothing like a senior, a Spanish, and a junior. So you realize all of a sudden, you realize that there's a whole new world out there. And for me, that's what tertiary education gives to people that, let's say, secondary school education doesn't give.
Right.
The opportunity to experience life, really, to be in charge of your own decisions. So sometimes what happens is that, when that starts happening, you realize that, no, this is not what I want.
Yeah.
I could have so many things. This is not what I want. Yes, he's a good man. He's a fantastic man. He does everything for me. But I think that there are more things that are, giving me that fire that I need.
Right.
You understand? So what the girl did was to do him a favor. So the girl waited until he left, so that she probably doesn't have to embarrass him on campus,
right,
by breaking up with him on campus, and waited for him to leave, and then told him the truth. That, you know what, I'm not really in love with you. I don't think the girl is cheating on him or anything.
Right.
The girl has respected that virgin relationship that they had from secondary school. But she's grown. She's seen new things. You are definite that this is what you want. And I'm sure part of the reason why he's sure that this is what he wants is because the girl was probably very green, and he feels that this is the girl for me, untouched. She hasn't been through anything, so what she knows is what I have taught her. What she sees as a good man is who I am, and all of that. So for him, he has a very good card that he's losing. But trust me, he may also, when he decides to move on, he may find somebody for him that also takes his emotions, not somebody that he's just being good for.
Right.
So I think that this lady has just been open to a lot more opportunities, and she feels like, yes, this man is a good man, but probably not the man for me. And she doesn't want to lead him on too much, because if he's just finished school, it leaves him a lot of time to kind of like heal and probably get better and get into another relationship that's good for him.
Right.
Now, because he's a good man, the girl has told him the truth, but the level of his desperation, how depressed he looks and sounds and everything, I'm sure that's why the girl keeps checking on him from time to time, because she doesn't want to be that girl who left a good man in the cold.
Right.
However, like I keep saying, when it comes to relationships, if you are sure that you don't want it, the card should be clean.
Let it go.
You need a samurai sword. Sever it. And you know what? Sever it. Be mean. Don't look back. Allow him. You see, it helps the other partner heal faster. The moment you keep doing the checkup on you, you realize that, like Sandra said, 1 minute, she's left me. Oh, how are you doing? Are you okay? I'm worried for you. She still cares. Maybe if I ask her enough, or maybe if I do this, maybe buy her flowers, maybe buy her something for her birthday, maybe do a big surprise party for her, maybe she'll come back. So you keep doing that. So what the girl, even though it's not the girl who sent the message, the girl needs that clean break. Don't give him any missed idea, because for him, the level of where he has entered in the love world, that's not where you are.
Charlie.
So it doesn't make the girl a bad person. It doesn't make the guy a bad person. It just means that they are at two different places, unfortunately, at the same time. So, yes, be lucky. This is what I'll tell the man. Be lucky that the girl has told you exactly how she's feeling. She has not blamed you for being, and know that there's somebody for you. So you don't need to become a horrible person because somebody treated you badly, quote unquote.
Right.
Because sometimes you see these good men, she's never cheated on the girl, he does everything for her, would move on and go like, okay, the one I even treated nicely after 5 years, she just dogged me. Then they now become this person, like they just do a complete 360 and they become this horrible person. No. You don't need to change and become a horrible person because of one experience. What you need to do, like Sabi said, Charlie, retreat, heal. Don't rush into any relationship. Heal. Start doing things you love. Start getting out of your comfort zone. Because the thing is, after 5 years, most of your hobbies are probably intertwined. Most of your friends are probably intertwined.
Yeah.
So start getting out of your comfort zone. Start making new friends, experiencing new things, probably traveling here and there, stuff like that. And you would heal naturally. Then when you heal naturally, then you can forgive her for the hurt that she has caused you. And then you move on and start dating properly. Somebody who appreciates that kind of love that you have to offer.
Okay. Enough said. You know, I'm going to try to squeeze in one last message.
Okay.
Because maybe I'll give you each a minute or so to address it. Says, Dear sisters, I have an issue that bothers me a lot. I've been married for 2 years to a wonderful man. He suggested that we try anal sex a few weeks ago. I wasn't too happy about it, but I gave in eventually. It's been painful, but he seems to have enjoyed it so much. Issue now is, all he wants now is anal sex. I don't know why. I thought it was going to be a one-off thing. He gets angry every time I say no. He hasn't been talking to me for a couple of days now. How do I make him understand that I do not like this kind of sexual intercourse? Please help me because I do not want to involve a third party. Yeah. Gia, you go first?
No.
Savvy, should I come to you?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yes, don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
No, man. I mean, why? Why is that the only thing that they can do? It's not just about him. There's two people in this situation.
Right.
I'm sorry. Ooh, no.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, she's done, man.
Okay. Yeah, like Sabi said, don't. Okay. Sex needs to be enjoyed by both of you. There are people who like anal. There are people who don't. If you don't, you don't.
Yeah.
How do you tell him? Why is he acting like a child? Why is he not talking to his wife? Why does he think his enjoyment is all that matters? Have you put him in that position? It's possible. You know, because sometimes women do that. We give in whatever you like. I give. We give in. And so we raise men who think
they're entitled.
Thank you. So now he feels entitled to your anus. That's the truth.
Yeah.
That's what it is. He feels entitled to it. And now you don't want to give it. You've given everything else.
Right.
But now you don't want to give that. How do you speak to him though? Charlie, this one over me. No, this one over me. No, over me. It passed me.
Some things are not open for dialogue, really. I think that anything that is asked of you by your partner, you need to find out if it's something you can sustain. If you can't sustain
Don't start what
my
you can't
dear,
finish.
do not start what you can't finish. Now, the fact that you started it, for him, he feels that with a little push, because you love him so much and you always give him to anything that he asks for, he'll pretend to be angry, you give him. But you need to stand your ground.
Right.
And actually let him feel like that one time was actually a mistake. No, not a favor.
Okay.
Was actually a big mistake.
Right.
You're probably in the mood and everything, and it was a big mistake.
Right.
And it has cost you so much, not just physically, psychologically, mentally. And then put it out to him. But why do you like that? Are you gay? Ouch. Yeah.
Yeah, what's that about?
What's that about? What's it about? Look, I mean, what's it about? You know, what's the whole experience about? So sometimes you probably need to flip the coin and put it on him.
Yeah.
That you see, before we got married, we knew that we were going to do things naturally.
Right.
You have introduced something. Well, I've tried to even
I did not
try
like
and
it.
I did not like it. Let's just end it. At least I've met you halfway. Let's just end it. End of discussion. I don't want to hear. Let him be angry all he wants. He'll come back to ground zero.
Right.
Because it's not fair to you.
Absolutely not.
Unless you don't like it. Unless you like it. But if you didn't like it, please.
But you see, there's also the fear most married women have of if I don't give in, I don't give in, he'll go and get it somewhere else.
Let him go.
Sister.
What are you going to do?
Be with someone who, after such an issue, can just walk away.
Yeah.
Is that the kind of
No, of course not. No, of course not. But all I'm saying is, yes, it's easy for us to sit here and say, stand your ground and tell him not to. But we know that we've heard stories of men who step out and their excuse is,
well, I wasn't getting
what I want.
But that's it. It's an excuse.
Yes.
A
know
man
that.
who wants to cheat will cheat.
Anyway.
Will look for any excuse to go and cheat.
Right.
Because I also know men who are going through issues. Maybe their wife is not giving them some.
Loyal.
They keep lamenting, but they are still in there because they know the vows they signed up to.
Yeah, absolutely.
So a man cheating has nothing to do with a woman. Same thing, a woman cheating on a man has nothing to do with a man. It's a decision you make.
Absolutely agreed. But all I'm saying is it's easy for us to sit here and say that. This is how next show she writes to us to say, and I stood my ground, and now he's cheating. Please advise.
Oh, I lost my marriage.
Or I lost my marriage. Please advise.
Well, it is
then
what it is. She needs to weigh what the options should be, right?
But for me, though, really, sex needs to be enjoyed by both parties. So if you don't enjoy it, you don't enjoy it. Find a way to not do it again. That's all there is to it.
Yes, and on that note, we end the show. Thank you so much, Tabby, for joining us all the way from South Africa. You're our favorite South African at the moment. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming.
At the moment.
Yeah, totally. And my moment lasts for a long time. And also, of course, Sandra, it was so good to see you again after many years. And Rosina, as usual. Thank you very much to our sponsors as well for bringing us another exciting edition of the show. We'll be back same time next week. My name is Jessica. Cheers.
Sister is sponsored by Secure. Secure, you decide. And Vodafone Ghana. The future is exciting. Ready?
Hey, Amma. Ajua. Yes? The Malcolm Black Friday deals are getting hotter and the flame is catching up everywhere.
Yes, it's true.
And everyone is talking about it.
My Abna, are we meeting?
Meeting? When all my friends and their guys are going